Are you a first-time buyer about to look or buy your first property? You've booked your viewing, but you're not quite sure what to look for when you are viewing that property. If so, you're in the right place, so stay tuned. Hi there, Lee Everett from Lee Everett Property Advice, and on this channel I'm passionate about helping as many first-time buyers buy their first property. Over the last 18 years, I've dealt with thousands and thousands of property transactions, so please hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you get a notification every time I post a helpful video. So it can be quite daunting when you go to view a property. There's so much to take in, so many rooms to look at, things to look out for, but I'm going to try and simplify some of the major things you should look for when viewing a property. One of the first things which is quite easy to spot if it's visible or even smell in some bad cases is damp. You really want to be looking on outside walls, the walls which meet the cold air of the outside, having a look there, behind furniture if you can, to see if there is any damp or condensation. If there is, then you may want to consider getting a timber or damp specialist round to see if there's a problem there or just poor ventilation. The next thing which is quite easy to look at and to spot is the boiler and the electrics. Now, most owners would have a boiler serviced each year and there should be certification for that. Especially if there's an older one, you almost want to insist on having that, make sure it's serviced recently. But you can ask the seller or the estate agent to show you where the boiler is. You can have a look at it, see if it looks old or new, and you can ask questions like, when was the boiler last serviced? When was it last replaced? But don't forget the electrics. You should have a look at the fuse board. If it's got the old block fuses, then you're going to want to budget for a new consumer unit. If it has a new metal or plastic case with the trip switches, then generally that's a more modern system and you should be okay. But you should always get electrics and gas tested by a competent person. I feel like a princess in this room. Another thing you can look at is the windows. If they're double glazed, single glazed, secondary double glazed. Ideally, most people are looking for double glazed or now triple glazed windows. But when you are looking at these windows, you want to see if any of the panes of glass, any of the units have started to fail. And you can see this by looking for signs of condensation, water actually inside the individual panes of glass. They may look steamed up. If you wipe the glass and there's still water on the inside, then that's a sign that the seals have failed or the units have failed, and you may want to budget about getting those fixed or maybe trying to use that to get some money off the price. If anything is fitted in a property, like built-in washing machine, dishwasher or cooker, you want to make sure they're in good working order and are usable. So have a look inside, if you're allowed to, obviously, depending on the estate agent and the owner, if they're allowing you to touch things at the moment. But ask them, if you're not allowed to open up dishwashers, washing machine, cookers, just to make sure that the appliances that could be left are actually in good working and clean order, so you don't have any surprises when you move in on moving day. You need to be aware and looking for any obvious signs of anything wrong structurally with the property in the form of cracks. Most houses will have some cracks, and I'm not talking about hairline cracks here which appear in plasterboard. We're talking about proper cracks that are appearing in brick walls which look a little bit scary. If you can fit a £2 coin, the skinny part of a £2 coin into a crack of a property, then you're probably going to want it looked at. Almost certainly a surveyor will recommend that a structural engineer look at it, but have a look around any extensions that have been done, if there is any on a property, the joining wall that's been made, and see if there's any obvious cracks which might say that the extension is pulling away from the existing property, needs to be tied in properly. Cracks in the roof, ceiling, anything like that, just take a mental note of and consider what that could cost if there is a major problem there. One thing I'm guilty of actually never doing is looking up into the loft. There's two reasons for this. You can find out how much of the loft is boarded, but also you can have a look at the actual roof structure, the timbers. If you start seeing any dust or any holes in the roof timbers, that could indicate there might be a woodworm infestation, and you may need to get a qualified person in to look for that. But the second reason to go looking in the loft is to have a look to see if you can see any light shining through. Now, if there are any missing tiles or anything like that, that's going to be quite apparent. You'll start seeing light or daylight through the membrane and through the tiles. So quite an easy way of finding if the roof has any slip tiles or missing tiles is seeing if there's any light shining through when you look in the loft. There's also other things you can look out for, which is water pressure, which way the garden faces, but you'll know what's important to you. We're not going to talk about size of rooms or anything like that, but these are things which some first-time buyers even second time buyers might miss as they get carried away in looking at properties. And it can be exciting, it can be very sort of thrilling to go and look at houses, but don't be taken away by how the owner has staged the property, how they've lived, how they're trying to portray a living to yourself. Look out for these key things, because it could save you thousands and thousands of pounds in the future. I hope this video has helped. If it has, hit like, and I'll see you next time. Take care.